Hello and welcome back to Tits, Tums and All Things Mum. I'm here with the lovely Jo today. How are you?
I'm well, thanks Lottie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I've had a very stressful day, so I've literally had to snap into podcast mode and be like, right, this morning didn't happen. We're over it. Honestly, just dealing with SEN children and having to fight for their needs constantly is the most stressful thing in the world. So,
and I guess in just getting through the paperwork, finding the right person to speak to, or speaking to a human rather than a system.
Honestly, it's so stressful. So very glad to be here with my cup of tea and just sit and have a chinwag about something that's not all that paperwork and all of that stuff. So do you want to start by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Jo and I'm a cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist. Mm-hmm. So I combine two types of therapy, basically. So cognitive behavioural therapy, which people get referred to quite a lot.
CBT,
And it was added to the NICE guidelines as a menopause intervention in 2023. And it's a really sort of evidence-based way of looking at therapy. But I also bring in hypnotherapy. And how I use hypnotherapy is just to try and release tension, just be able to help your whole system just calm down and feel a little bit more soothed, because it's a bit like if you have a better night's sleep, you actually feel a bit clearer, you maybe feel a bit more in control, a bit more productive. So I use hypnotherapy kind of like a little reset for people or recharge. Some people are like, now I feel like I've got loads of energy.
Yeah.
So I combine the two mainly because everybody that comes to see me is exhausted. So I use hypnotherapy to give them some rest.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So I'm guessing most of the people that come to your mum's then, because we're all just bloody knackered.
Yeah, predominantly work with mums, with overwhelmed mums, or mums fearing that they are on the brink of burnout. That's when they will start to feel that fear that they can't break. And that but also there are too many plates spinning, and that fear kicks in, like, what if I can't keep doing this? And that's when they will sort of put their needs above, because up until that point they will be thinking about everybody else other than themselves.
You get so in a cycle though, because I get to that point regularly and I'm like, no, enough is enough. I'm going to put myself first for a bit. I'll have maybe a couple of days of having a nice hot bath, doing lots of self-care, doing some painting, doing the things that bring me joy. And slowly those things will disappear again. And then in a couple of weeks, I've built back up to that place of burnout. And I do it all over again. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this?
And so what I look at with people, because everybody's different, what I look at with people are what are those little kind of interventions that you can give yourself throughout the day, because we can't all just take off and run a bath.
No.
We might not really
Wish
like
we bloody
yoga.
well could though.
Yeah, I know. I love a bath. But we can't all just trip off and pay for yoga, or we might not like yoga. But that's what we're supposed to be doing. Some people really get the benefit from journaling or mindfulness. Other people are like, how do I add that to my to-do list? So we look at the little interventions that just help you to kind of take stock in those moments, give you the opportunity just to breathe, feel a bit more in control of things. And it may happen in a split second. Nobody else might even know that you're kind of going through these sort of steps to help yourself just recharge and restock.
I definitely have to do that 10 times a day. Just stop, take a few deep breaths and just recenter myself in the moment, because sometimes you just get so in your head that you're just like, I'm gonna lose my shit in a minute.
And taking breathing is again something that I look at with people, because everybody, we're so used to, you're meant to do the box breathing, you're meant to breathe in for a shorter amount of time than you breathe out, when actually when you're really stressed, when you're really up against it, or you're really feeling on fire, that's really stressful. So actually what I look at is how breathing works for people, because for some people taking a deep breath might be that pause, stop, that you need. For other people, it feels more like the start of a panic attack.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're approaching breathing in a way that suits, and we almost want to use it in a way that kind of warms up your diaphragm a little bit. So if you go for like a 4 and 4 or something, my God, that's going to feel like such hard work. So we want to see what is just more comfortable, what doesn't feel like there's a problem, I have to breathe really hard now.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Cover My Bubble. Emma and Chris lost their baby girl Lily Beth at 1 month old and faced financial struggles on top of their grief due to not having life insurance. Now they help others by offering insurance for parents, children and bumps, covering critical illness to income protection. Visit covermybubble.co.uk to cover your bubble. I wish our brains knew the difference between like being chased by a tiger and like your kids just screaming, because it's almost like we just haven't evolved and we're stuck in that, like, we're still cavemen being chased by tigers.
Totally. And that is probably what I spend the majority of my time doing with the women that I work with, is de-escalating the catastrophes. And just working through the details. On my Instagram, I talk a lot about separating the facts from the feelings. So the feeling of, tiger, or that feeling of dread. My client this morning, she said she got, every time her phone pinged with a message or an email, she got that horrible sense of dread in her stomach, like, what else? What else do I have to do? And that feeling of dread also then kind of almost gives her a sense of defeat, like she can't cope, she's not strong enough, she's too weak. And so actually we just sort of looked at the detail within those kind of mini catastrophes that fire at her throughout the day, and see what actually happens. So again, you're getting a bit more clarity, a bit more control. And some people don't. I use the word control a lot with my clients, and some people don't really like it. Or they're like, oh, everybody calls me a control freak, or I'm too much of a perfectionist, I can't let things go. And I'm like, well, who wouldn't want to feel in control? Like feeling of control of yourself and your choices and what you do next. Everybody would want that. But it's when the anxiety, the stress, the extreme worry or exhaustion floods everything else and forgets or dismisses all your natural kind of characteristics or values, things like that.
Which I guess probably happens to a lot of mums, because you've got these little people that are like your entire world and they're reliant on you. So you do want to control everything because they're your everything, aren't they? So,
and that comes with as mums, we're going to be so conscientious. Like, it's such a responsibility. We don't want to get it wrong, not just in terms of how much sleep they're getting, are they clean, oh my goodness, how many times have they had a bath this week, all of those things. But it's like that future projection as well, like, what if I get this so wrong that they
How many times have you thought, well, I'm putting my kids into therapy?
So, our systems then become on fire, not just in the present, but for decades as well. And that is a lot. So it's just looking at, even if they skip bath time, even if they had more chicken nuggets than broccoli, it's being able to look at kind of the intention as well, like seeing it more as a bigger perspective rather than just what you perceive as getting wrong in that moment, how we judge ourselves in those moments, and sort of still looking at that kind of, okay, well, my intention is still for my children to be healthy. So what does that look like? Much broader, whereas we tend to, any snippet of something that we think we haven't got right, or we will hold that, literally hold it tight to us, far tighter than anything that we've done well. We will probably
terrible for that.
Not even notice when we do something well.
We're terrible for that, aren't we? And this is a hard question, but if there was one thing that you could suggest to mums to kind of prevent getting to that burnout point, what do you think it would be?
I think it is a lot of the first session that I do with people is just asking them to start recognizing what's actually happening. So it may be that they start to feel that feeling of dread, or I work with a lot of women who also have IBS or like psoriasis or things like that, where their body shows them the stress. And I ask them to catch those moments and really kind of tune into what's happening, just to be able to build that ability to catch it and recognize it and bring a bit of, I'm really hesitant to use the word balance because that's really hard. We're not likely to walk around patting ourselves on the back. We'd absolutely do it for somebody else, but not ourselves.
You need a bestie that can do it to you, and then you like do it for each other. I've got literally my bestie does all of that, and then I do it to her as well.
Yeah. So essentially I teach people how to be their own cheerleader, their own therapist. Yeah. Basically that is what I teach, so that people don't feel beholden to me or don't rely on me. But yeah, the first thing would be to recognize those moments, tune into what's happening and see what is fair. Okay. So they ate more nuggets than broccoli today. They haven't washed for 4 days. Their uniform hasn't, whatever it is that we're beating ourselves up for. Okay, well, what's on the other side?
Yeah.
What they're happy. They're eating. Yeah. They're warm. Look at all the things that you have done just to create a sense of fairness.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that takes practice.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I didn't iron my daughter's school shirt this morning, and immediately I was like, oh, I'm going to look like such a crap mum because she's going in a wrinkled top. And then I was like, why does that make me a crap mum? Like, what am I saying to myself? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
And it's catching those moments that kind of, at this time of day, just us sitting here, are you a crap mum?
No.
Right, that is the answer. Yeah. So it's coming back to that and grounding that. But the more that we build on that, when you have that little voice, as everybody does, that critic, being able to contentedly go, that's not fair, that's not true.
Tell it to fuck off. Mine's called Ethel. I regularly tell her to fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck off, Ethel.
I have, I always encourage sort of my critics to get to understand their critic a bit as much as possible so that we can understand what it's working with. Yeah. Because most people have an inclination to tell Ethel to fuck off. Yeah. When actually we kind of want Ethel to feel a bit better because then she can just rest and relax and she trusts you and she knows you've got it.
She's an insecure little thing.
She's worried. Yeah. She's worried. So actually want to give her the stuff where she can trust you, because the more that you're like, yeah, I've got that, I'm in control, you've got more clarity or perspective of that, the more Ethel can go on holiday.
Yeah, she can. She can bugger
fuck off on holiday. Go and have a great time, Ethel.
Stay there forever.
Yeah, exactly. And she will.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So as well as all of that stuff that you do, you've also started looking into emotional eating, and that also has an Ethel. Like, Ethel always wants to eat as well. She's a hungry, insecure little thing. Yeah,
that's what she knows. Yeah, yeah. That is her routine. Yeah, as it were. So yeah, I mean, I've always worked with people who are emotional eaters. I just don't promote it through online, social media or my website, because I want people to sort of recognize that it's more than just the emotional eating, that there is anxiety with that, whatever. Whereas if I start presenting myself as, come to me for all your emotional eating needs, people might fixate on solving that problem rather than sort of more holistically as well. And I started to notice with the women that I was working with, predominantly women who are emotional eaters, that, Mounjaro was coming on the scene, and Mounjaro more than, say, Ozempic or Wegovy or things like that. Yeah. But they still weren't quite feeling better, and or happier, and actually there was a bit of disappointment with that. So I started exploring again just what was behind that and why. And one of the things that I always speak to my clients about whenever we start working together is like, I'm not skinny. Like, if you're coming to me because you want to just be skinny and think that's happy, I'm not your person. I'm not your therapist. I'm very much about reclaiming food, like just being able to enjoy it. Some people just want it as a fuel and not think about it. They think about their protein or their veggies or whatever it is, but I just don't want all the food noise that goes with it. Yeah. So it's like, if you want skinny, I'm not your therapist. There will be other people that can sell that to you. If you want to be completely at peace with food, just like, yeah, I enjoy it, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
There's no good days, there's no bad days, there's no on, there's no off. If you just want freedom from that, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And so similarly with when Mounjaro is, as it is coming through, it's just like being able to reclaim that.
Yeah.
Because some people get thin.
Yeah.
And then are like, oh no.
But maybe that gives you the time to come to people like you to work on the other stuff
Absolutely.
as well. Because
it has given space.
Yeah, I felt like I was running out of time because my health was in the shitter because I was obese at the time when I started Mounjaro. So I've been on it since January and I was suffering with all sorts of problems as a result. And I had done the reading, I had done all of the stuff and still had that food noise. So then I started Mounjaro and now I've got the time, the space, the space in my head to be able to work through those issues. And it's so freeing being able to eat one bourbon biscuit and then not go sit on the sofa and all you can think about is the rest of those bourbon biscuits and how you need to eat them right now, this second. Just being able to sit there and think, I don't need them. Like that biscuit was lovely, it's great, but I don't need the rest. It's just the best feeling.
And not only does it give you the headspace and the quiet, because food noise is
it's loud
and loud, like you say, and it's from the moment you wake up like until you finally get to go to sleep. Because I also work with a lot of people with sleep issues because their brains are just too busy. So to be able to literally switch that part off has been life-changing for so many people. And then, with the women that I work with, they may be like, I don't know what my body shape is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be wearing. Or
that's where I am now. I'm like, how do I dress myself now? I'm like, I'm buying clothes that just are weird on me now because I'm so used to dressing the body that I had before. So I'm a little bit confused. But I'm also like I'm not coming off it yet. So I'm like, but what's the point in shopping when I'm probably going to lose a bit more weight? So, And
again, looking at that with more sort of like an enthusiasm rather than oh no, I'm going to get it wrong.
Do you know what I've done? I bought a sewing kit and I'm stitching tighter waistbands in my existing clothes because I'm like, nobody can afford a wardrobe now and then potentially another one like, in 6 months, a year's time. So I've sewed new waistbands in all of my clothes.
That is so ingenious, and it just shows you're a problem solver. You're like, oh, there's a problem.
I'm also skint as fuck.
I mean, being skint as fuck does also lead to more creativity, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do.
But with some people, it will be, well, I'm thin, but now I can't go out because I can't. I'm skint as fuck and I can't afford clothes, or they're just afraid to be seen because they're like, people are going to know, and they're going to ask me questions. So they're still inside. Or colour, for example. So many women that I've worked with, it's just been black. Black has been their colour since they were so young. And suddenly they're like, it's too overwhelming. And they don't trust themselves. They don't trust their judgment. They've never really had to in this area. And the fear around being asked questions, getting it wrong, not knowing. Some people are like, I don't really want to go out for dinner anymore because I don't want to eat. What else am I doing now? My partner's cross because we can't do anything. And so just exploring, again, it's just sort of giving a calmer perspective.
But I've just now enjoyed eating like healthy food because that's what I want. Like when I went out before, the noise in my head would tell me, you're out, so you need a starter, main and a pudding. Even if you don't really want a starter, main and pudding, you have to have it. Now I'll go out and because I'm not really that hungry, I'll choose something that I actually like quite fancy, like an actual nice, delicious meal. And then it will fill me up and I'll be like, oh, I could take or leave a pudding. Like, I don't need it. So it's just so like freeing being able to do that. And what you do allows people to do that without Mounjaro as well.
It's having that confidence, but also that knowledge. It's being prepared to if you go out for dinner and like you say, it may be that this doesn't happen very often, so I want to make the most of this. I'm going all in.
Yeah, it's like all-inclusive holidays as well. I'm going on a holiday in Tenerife in August, and last year the voice in my head told me, this food is all free. You have to eat as much as you possibly can because it's free and you need to get your money's worth. So there I am at the blooming burger bar every hour, like eating a burger. And I looked at photos like before and after I'd gone on holiday. I was like, oh my goodness, what I did to my body on that holiday. Like, I'm clogging up all the arteries there. But this time I'm hopefully going to be able to go and enjoy whole food and really just enjoy the food, not just shoving it in my face because it's free. Although I am spending a fortune on all that food that I'm now not going to eat.
But you'll enjoy what you like. There will be actually more value to the food that you do eat because it will taste better.
It will taste so much nicer.
Yeah, absolutely. On or you know, I am not. If I was a judgy therapist, I would be really crap. So my position is, and whether you are or you aren't off it, it's literally that contentment to be able to do what you want to do. Yeah. To not have Ethel go, you need to do this. Yeah. Like, and I say to a lot of people, you know, like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, you have 2 bourbon biscuits. Yeah. Like, don't then write off the whole day. Yeah. And it's very easy for me to say, don't do that. So we want to explore the strategies that help you to feel like, I don't have to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Exactly. You feel, again, it's like you have a choice, because Ethel will have you believe you don't have any choice.
Yeah, exactly. I read this great book once called Brain Over Binge, which is for it's for bulimic people really, or people with binge eating disorder, but it helps anyone that struggles with emotional eating, because it's talking about the chimp in your head. Yeah. And how you don't have to listen to that chimp. But that is easier said than done. And I think Mounjaro just gives people that tool, isn't it? Just to give yourself the space to learn that actually all this time, it wasn't you. It was the voice in your head telling you have to eat all the bourbons.
And everybody will have at some point, and that's sort of why I love CBT, because a lot of psychotherapies will expect you or want you to reflect back to your childhood, which CBT can very much kind of stay in the here and the now and what you want next. Yeah, it's not reliant on talking about your past, but most people at one point or another in their life will experience that chimp, and it may be a life change like having a baby, or it may be a promotion where suddenly you're a manager of people and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to do my job. Yeah, you know, it's when the chimp starts to ask uncomfortable questions, and usually around food, what comes up the most is kind of that, what's the point? What is the point? You're not going to be able to do this. You're not strong enough. You're not good enough. Even if you were thin, what difference would that make? You might as well just eat, comfort yourself. Yeah. And so we start to kind of understand everybody's chimps and those motivations for it, those triggers for it.
Do you find that something triggers that with women a lot, like in general, a chimp to arrive? Because I was in air quotes, normal eater before I started competing in fitness, and that's what triggered my chimp to start. So do you find there's other triggers that happen in women?
I work with performers, singers and sports people who that chimp will massively come through right at the point they really don't need it. It's always then. Always then. So yeah, there is always going to be a trigger, and it will always tap into your deepest, darkest insecurity. And it may be as simple as something that you heard in the playground, or something, you know, for me and food, it was very much like, you're not pretty anyway, so it doesn't matter if you might as well eat. And so being able to kind of understand that chimp, and it's normally a not good enough. So, you know, comparison being the thief of pretty much everything, not just joy, but the comparison piece will start to chip away or deprive you of a confidence in just being happy to be there, and feeling proud of yourself for working so hard, practicing so much, training, giving so much time to training. So it will really start to chip away at your confidence. And then that will start to settle in and build. And again, we're very conscientious. So we will look for more examples of where we're not quite good enough and store them. And so this message, sort of like, and so many clients refer to it like that. It's like a stick of rock, the words through a stick of rock, not good enough, not good enough compared to.
Yeah.
And so once we get to that kind of that core belief or that core message that sits behind the chimp, that chimp is so flipping afraid of, and is trying to protect you from, then everything starts to get harder and harder. And that's where people maybe start to retreat or doom scroll or do anything to distract themselves, food, just to try and just smother this, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And there is normally some kind of trigger somewhere for that.
Yeah.
So we look at, again, separating the good enough to what? Like, would the chimp actually ever let you be good enough? Would there be a day where you go, I'm good enough today?
Yeah.
Or would it always shift the goalposts? What does good mean to you?
Yeah.
What do you want good to look like? Because what you want matters, and matters way more than the chimp.
Yeah.
So again, we're giving that kind of grounding confidence and just like, I want to see myself as just like, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no competition. There's no enough compared to what, whom,
Yeah,
whatever that
exactly.
is. We take it off the table.
And I think that's kind of where it's a little bit difficult, isn't it, with Mounjaro, because you don't know if you're doing it for the right reasons a lot of the time. Like, some people are doing it for health, and I think this is why we're having this conversation today, because I did a reel about why I'm on it, and like the health issues that I was having and how it's like completely changed my life. But there were some comments on it, like from people like vilifying it basically, and saying, I mean, a lot of this is controversial. A lot of that comes from people who are in a socially accepted body, a size 8 to 12. And they're saying people shouldn't be on this, people shouldn't be doing it. And it's like, it's okay for you to say that from your size 8 to 12 body. What about someone who is really struggling mentally in their bigger body and they do want to come back down? Should they feel judged for having done it for that reason? People are doing it for health. People are also doing it because they don't feel happy in their body.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I think actually it's just choice. Your choice impacts nobody else.
Yeah.
People will always feel the need to comment.
Always.
And often that's where sort of an insecurity or a worry or stress can start from just a comment or even just a hint.
Yeah.
Like, nothing may be said out loud, but you kind of suspect that somebody's thinking a certain way and start to mind read people and always come up with the worst. So yeah, anybody that's kind of commented in the article that I did, I had hundreds of comments after it. Yeah. And I didn't read any of them because I was like, who has the time?
Yeah. But also you don't know what negative ones you're going to pick up on, and like,
it's none of my business. Their comments are none of my business.
Yeah.
They're not going to work with me.
No. Yeah.
So they can do them over there. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you over there. That's fine. I'm here.
Yeah. You're doing you.
Yeah.
So on that note, you're going to show us your article. So let's head on to show and tell.
Okie dokie.
So you have got your article here. Congratulations for getting an article. So talk us through how this happened, what your article's about, and kind of the reception that it's had.
So as I mentioned, I've just been seeing an increasing number of women who have been taking the injections. Some have been taking them for more than a year, and have really, felt the benefits that they wanted. They have achieved what they really hoped that they would achieve from this. And yet within them, there is still, it may even just be a niggle, but it may be more like a sense of disappointment. It hasn't given them back what they hoped that it would give them. That for some of them, it's created other issues. And it may be as simple as they don't know who they are now without food. They don't know what to do when there's a stressful conversation at work, or if they've had a terrible night's sleep with the kids or something like that. Whereas before they would have known exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And now they sort of find themselves not quite knowing what they're supposed to do, or knowing like how to just process emotions, like an argument with a partner where they maybe would have like really angrily ate in a fuck you, I'll show you.
It's always like stereotypically like the tub of ice cream, isn't it? Like
always
in all the
comfort.
Movies, like they've got a tub of ice cream and a big spoon.
But you know what? That is exactly part of our training.
Yeah.
That we have, it's not a surprise that we all do that.
Yeah.
You know, and again, looking at what we think we're supposed to be like, and that kind of that 90s heroin chic and things like that. You know, like to be skinny is to be good, is to be better, is to be a great person.
Yeah.
And anything outside of that is less than.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's like, yay, I've achieved, you know, what I want to achieve, but actually I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Some are more like, I'm so ready, I want to get out there, I am going to take over the world. Can you just tell me how?
Yeah. What do I do?
Who am I without food? They just don't know who they are.
And I guess alcohol as well, because if you were a drinker, it gets rid of your desire to drink as well.
Yeah.
So then what? Because I keep getting invited out by my friends to boozy nights, and I'm like, how do I have a boozy night without booze? Like, what do I do with myself on that night? Yeah,
and actually, with the people that I work with that are drinkers and come to me to help with the drinking, I work with people in Alcoholics Anonymous and or other different anonymouses, and again, it's like, if you're coming to me to stop it completely, I'm not your person, because I look for ways that you get to have that beer watching the football, that glass of wine with friends having a natter, that glass of champagne at Christmas, or, you know, celebration. Yeah. If you want to be able to do that just peacefully, that's what I'm here for. Yeah. So again, it's kind of like, how do I go out with the girls?
Yeah, I'm the fun drunk. Am I? I'm the one that gets drunk and twerks on a table, and now I'm like, I'm not going to do that anymore because I'm not going to get drunk. So I'm like, what do I'm going to have to twerk not drunk on a table. Great.
So within like, there is kind of a little bit of exposure therapy within that. Yeah. Just do it and see what happens.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
See if
Saturday
it makes
night,
you laugh
Eurovision
harder.
Party. I'll let you know if I'm twerking on a table.
I you know, set yourself that mini experiment. Just give yourself a 10-second
I said it out loud
twerk.
on camera. That means I've got to actually twerk on the table.
Video footage of this. But what we want to understand is like, is it all right? Does it matter? Yeah. If you're sober or drunk? Yeah. Like, are you having fun? Are you with your mates?
I'll let
you know after
smiling? Saturday.
Yeah, it's like, it's that feedback. Yeah. That like, so what? I'm not drinking. So what? Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's again, it's that feeling more at peace with you. Yeah. Regardless of whether it's drink or emotional eating or losing weight through the injections or whatever, or overwhelm or burnout. It's like, it's moving through that kind of, oh my God, what if? Yeah. And it's like, well, what if? Yeah. What will actually happen? Yeah. And feeling more comfortable with that. Yeah. So yeah, the article went out. It came about that I was seeing a lot of this with my clients, and I was like, this is really interesting. And I don't know, I can't find this being talked about. Yeah. And so I've worked with the Daily Mail's Agony Aunt before. She's talked about working with me before. So I sent it to her and would this be interesting for your readership? And she said, actually, it's a really interesting piece. And she passed it on to an editor and they picked it up, and the heading isn't quite what I would have gone for, because again, it's, you know, it's like, why do so many women feel worse about themselves after shedding pounds on weight loss jabs? And it's not really kind of
it's not like you feel
inspirational
worse, you just feel a bit lost. I guess. Yeah,
exactly that. Yeah. But it is the Daily Mail. Yeah. So it's the Daily Mail headline. Yeah. But you know, essentially, maybe for some women, they see that and go, other people feel worse too. I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
So actually, it maybe has done exactly the right job.
Yeah.
It just was like not what I would have gone for.
Yeah.
So it landed, and it was a trending article. It was a top 3 article on that day, and then with a huge amount of comments as well. That can just sit there,
because there'll be so many people that relate to that as well. Like there's such a broad spectrum of how people feel after or once they've been on the Mounjaro or whatever jab they're on for a little bit. Like it's definitely saved my health, but there are some questions around like, how do I dress myself? What am I doing now? Like, and because I'm not quite there yet, like I'm in that limbo phase, and other people like they feel like like, for example, I've had a lot of comments from body confident people who are now what's classed as slim.
Yep.
How do they now talk about being body confident when they're now, you know, a size 8 to 10, 8 to 12? And you do just feel a little bit lost in some cases. So it's about, I guess, kind of starting again with your identity, isn't it? And finding a new version of you.
I sort of talk about it more in a kind of a reclaiming, which for some, and I use reclaiming because some people just don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're reclaiming, and it's like, okay, what if you could, what would you claim?
Yeah.
What would be yours? Like, what do you want to be known for? Like an amazing lipstick and some fantastic trousers. Like what is it that you want to claim for you? Do you want to claim to be the sober one twerking? Do you want to claim to still be that friend that just is there and listens and supports, that is trying her best as a mother? Like, what are you taking hold of that you can feel, if not proud, but just content with?
Yeah.
And our bodies, we're always gonna bash them.
Yeah.
So actually being able to claim what we want in terms of our perception of our bodies, not just in a what do we want for our bodies, but what do we want our perception of our bodies to be? And a lot of what motivates the women that I work with is that role modelling.
Yeah.
How they want their children to hear how they talk about themselves, how they would want, you know, future thinking, how they would want their children to think and talk about their own bodies.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got 2 girls, they're 12 and 9, so I'm really mindful.
Bodies, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really mindful of how I talk about myself with my children, and I'll get it wrong, but I will own that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, do you know what? I didn't love how I talked about that yesterday. I think I was just maybe just having a hormonal day, because hormones will do that. So, you know, it's that accountability, it's that being comfortable with having discussions, whether you've got them right or wrong.
Yeah.
We're unlikely to sit back and go, I nailed that conversation then. But if we feel we got it wrong, being able to then show them how we work through it, we take ownership of it and go, do you know what, I've thought about that, and actually I think it's more like this. Yeah.
And it's difficult, isn't it, when you are on like the jabs and you're losing weight? Because I mean, I haven't told my kids that I'm on the jabs. I don't let them see me do it, but they can obviously see that I am losing weight. So there have been questions around that, and I'm like, oh well, mummy's just doing a lot of exercise, and by doing exercise and by eating healthier foods that are better for my brain and heart, I am losing weight, and it's making me healthier. And we've just been having conversations about like being strong and healthy and having healthy brains and healthy hearts and things like that. But it is tricky when a byproduct of health and getting healthier is weight loss, because you've then got to balance how you talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you know, within the family that I grew up with was very judgmental. Oh yeah, it was back then though. Do you remember like Trini and Susanna calling like size 12 people fat? And you're like, Christ alive. They'd have a field day with with me now. I'm still on Chris Evans weighing Victoria Beckham. It's like a scar. It's awful that and that was normal. It's only really now that we see that as shocking. At the time it's like that's how life is. So with my girls it's very much like
other people. It's none of our business. Like, we never comment on anybody else's body.
No.
And we kind of think about, oh, do you know, my 12-year-old, she doesn't love sport, but you know, she's into athletics at the moment, so she's got massively long legs. I don't know where they've come from. And she's like, I should be good at running, and I'm like, but do you like running? No. And I'm like, okay, well, what else do you want to do then?
Yeah.
But again, already she's got that comparison, that judgment. So just coming back to just her, what works for her, and just like, you can't do nothing, my love. You'll just get fidgety, you'll get bored. Like, mix it up a little bit, find out, try a bit of this, that and the other. It doesn't mean like you're a tennis player now. Like, that's not my cup of tea, I'll try something else.
Exactly.
I don't think I knew what worked for me until my 20s. In my teens, I was definitely like, everybody else is just better than me. I don't know what me is. It's just bad. So, you know, being able to just go, okay, if it doesn't work, move on.
I love that. Amazing. So on that note, we're going to do the spin and spill on the wheel.
Okay.
Here we go. So here is the spin and spill wheel. So if you don't mind giving it a good spin.
I'll do my best.
And we'll see what you get. Oh, what's your biggest parenting fail? We all have them.
This is the one I didn't want.
Oh, is it? You can spin again if you want.
Oh, no. I've talked about accountability. I'm going to own it. When my eldest daughter was 2, she fell in a puddle. And I pulled her out from the arm and dislocated her arm.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, you've heard of like people like me.
Like swinging people. You know when
it's a real thing.
Kids are like, swing me, and then you're like, pop.
And you break their arm.
Yeah, that's the only reason I won't let my kids do that now, because I know people who have done it.
Yeah, so you heard that, learnt from it, and don't do it. So I dislocated my daughter's arm twice.
Oh, no. But she must have like...
She was quite bendy. Like, you know, we can say these things, but I didn't learn from the first dislocation.
So what was the second one?
To be kind to myself, she was about to run across a road, and
there you go.
I just grabbed, but that one resulted in hospital. And I didn't have nappies. I didn't have wipes. I didn't have a bottle. I had no water and no food whatsoever. And you know what it's like going into A&E.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, turn that around in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
3 hours later, she's hungry. She's shut herself.
Oh,
she's got nothing. I've got no money. And the consultants just kept coming out being like, I found a pile of little 5p's in the bottom of my bag, and I had to buy some ready salty crisps in the vending machine. And the consultants were like, I don't think it's appropriate to feed your child, your broken child, crisps. And I was just like, I'm a good parent. So the fail is actually the twice part and the hospital trip with the nothing.
But then if you're in a rush, you just go, don't you? If like
it was Christmas, I just had to pop. It was just a pop that resulted in a massive pop that resulted in a huge amount of questions from
because you then get followed up as well when it's a kid. Because my daughter decided to pull a cup of tea onto herself when she was like maybe a year old, and then you get the phone calls from social services and
certainly
all that.
If you do it twice.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Well, you know, we all do these things, so you're a good parent. Keep that mantra in your head.
Do my best.
Right, shall we head over and do a stroller speedway? Are you excited for that?
I'm not sure if excited is the right word. I have a few kind of possibilities that could happen. So we'll see. I'll give it a go.
Amazing. Let's head over.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we are at Stroller Speedway. Situation is Annabelle has been put in the pushchair and she's done a poo. It is Nutella. It is very sticky.
Okay.
You're going to take her out. You're going to clean her bum as clean as you'd like your own child to be, which for some of these ladies has been very questionable. You're going to clean her bum, put the new cloth nappy back on her, do her vest up, pop her back in the stroller, slalom that way, and touch my shoulder to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. and I'll give you a countdown to start, and you've got, well, depending on where you want to be, you've got 2 minutes 7 to not be at the bottom. But I wouldn't worry too much about the top because the baby definitely still had shit everywhere for those ones. So, yeah.
I mean, it's open to interpretation, right? Like how clean you want your child to be.
Yeah, and Annabelle, bless her, she's been through some stuff, and, you know, she's got the joins in her legs. There's a lot of leftovers in there.
Yeah, my daughter, you know who I broke?
Yeah.
Is called Annabelle.
Oh,
so
there you go.
We're in it together. Don't let me break you.
She's seen some things. She's been up on her head. She's had her legs by her ears, bless her. Right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I was trying not to say, haven't we all?
We have. So I'll give you a countdown and then you can get going.
Oh,
ready?
Gosh.
You've got this.
No.
3, 2, 1, go.
Right, come on, Annabelle. We've got stuff to get to. We're in the swimming pool. We're at the leisure centre. There's people judging us. Jesus Christ, girl.
What
have you been doing? What have you been doing to yourself? What did I give
it's
you?
a lot more melty than it normally is.
Oh my gosh, and you mentioned the creases.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All in the
Okay, yeah.
creases.
You mentioned these were a bit dry.
Yeah.
Oh, Annabelle, you have let the family down, girl. What shame.
You've let yourself down, you've let the family down.
This is how therapists talk to their own children.
That's how you put them in therapy.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
future.
You gotta, keep things going. Oh, Annabelle, blimey. I am
You're
racing.
at 40 seconds.
Oh, wow. God damn it. Okay.
It's looking pretty clean. I
Well,
like it.
it's the creases. It's the legs behind the ear.
I do take her home for a regular bath.
I should think so. As long as you're wiping off the Nutella and not licking it off.
Or no. There's something about knowing that it's poo.
Oh, now I'm cleaning the environment. Look what's happened. I've gone into the environment. Right, okay. Annabelle, you're questionable, but we're here and we're doing it.
Well, I can say that you're not first. That's for sure.
Yeah. But, I think we were in a swimming pool, so she can wash this off later. Right,
there
poppers. Oh, no poppers.
No, it's Velcro,
oh, joyous.
so that's
joyous.
easier.
Yes, that is. Okay,
There
you
you go.
probably don't have any shoulders anymore. Right, so I'm down, up,
That way.
that way. Okay, here we go.
And back
Come on,
again.
Come on, you can do this. Oh, there goes
Taking the
comb.
combs out.
Okay, try not to.
And then remember to
and
touch
then-
my shoulder to finish. Lovely. So, where do you think you are? You wanted to beat Ro.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to because she is a fitness expert and she has one more child than me, so she's got more experience. I'd like to be around between Ben and Amy.
Yeah.
Or Bonnie? Between Ben and Bonnie.
You are just between Ben and Bonnie. You
Okay.
are one. Oh no, you're not. You're in line with Bonnie. 1 minute 45.
Oh,
so
lovely.
You're down the bottom end, but
I did say I wanted to beat Tom the Unlikely Dad.
and you did beat the unlikely dad by 5 seconds.
Happy with that. I'm
There
just
you
going to
go.
clean your
Sorted.
area.
Oh, don't worry about that. Well done. Let's head back over.
Thank you.
Okay, how was your experience of Stroller Speedway?
Not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
Or feared.
Yeah. But I think the hot weather is working well for people because it's melting the Nutella a little bit more. It's a bit more... Because when Nutella goes a bit hard...
Yeah.
It's like quite... Mm-hmm. This is so gross.
Well, it's cementy, isn't it?
Yeah, like cementy, but it's a bit looser now.
Thanks for your looseness.
It's a bit more like actual poo. So yeah,
Lovely.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming on
having me.
today's episode. I know so many people will relate to it, and we'll be out there dealing with all those issues. So thank you. Could you finish by telling everyone where we can find you online?
So you can go to my website, which is jopitkin-hypnotherapy.com, and on there you can find some of the self-led, self-paced courses that I offer for people who don't have time or energy to be booking in therapy or aren't going to prioritise themselves over others. So you can find my courses there, or you can find me on Instagram at jopitkin_therapy.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much to everybody at home for listening. Please do download, subscribe, comment, all the things. Let us know in the comments as well if you relate to anything that we've talked about today, and I will see you soon.